My name is Netia McCray. The world mostly knows me as that executive director of a nonprofit called Mbadika. Today, I'm here as a long hauler and a member of the COVID-19 Longhaulers Advocacy Project. Why? Because in March 2020, I woke up and felt a tightness in my chest, which left me on the bathroom floor so short of breath that the room was spinning. When I reached out to my doctor, I was told, if you can talk, you're fine. Then 1 week became 2 weeks, then 3 weeks. And I could start to tell that I wasn't the typical experience for my doctor. How? Because the message became, take a Tylenol, pick up an adult coloring book, perhaps try some yoga, just rest and allow your body to recover. Then those 3 weeks became 3 months. And I went from a healthy, independent woman who was taking care of everyone to someone who required a 24/7 caretaker herself. My rapid decline and the chaos it created was a mystery not only to myself, but to my community. The inability to do simple math as an MIT graduate was more heartbreaking to me than losing my freedom. The short-term memory loss, the seizures, down to the microclots that were responsible for my heart attack, have become my long-term COVID symptoms that persist. My partner would try to explain repeatedly to his family why his previously active and healthy girlfriend still hasn't recovered. How could I still be sick? Everyone's confusion led to the belief that I must be the problem. I was the agent of chaos in their lives, not COVID. However, do you know who I didn't have to extensively explain myself to? That was my mother. She understood when I said that despite sleeping all day, I wasn't rested. She didn't recommend a nap or a cup of coffee, but she introduced me to stop, rest, pace. Why? She has lupus and suspects ME. She's been battling for 4 years to recharge a faulty battery. Every new ailment that had befallen me, she understood and helped me manage. She was my rock in a sea of chaos by helping me make sense of what was happening to me. I'm fortunate for the relationship I have with my mother and that she's shown me the power of science communication. What science communication? It means helping to make sense of the chaos of the world. Like the chaos lightning and hurricanes inflicted upon mankind, which was considered magic and constantly struck fear into the masses. Folks felt defenseless until science began to unravel and communicate to the public that these were natural phenomena. Now, while we may still fear both things, we are armed with the knowledge to make rational decisions to avoid facing their true wrath via the Weather Channel. And that's why it's a privilege to be a science, technology, and engineering and mathematics or STEM educator, to carry on this tradition and demystify complicated concepts for learners of all ages. Just like my father would do for me in the past, and my mother is doing for me right now in the present. Science communication allows for folks to identify the wide spectrum of long COVID symptoms while ensuring no one is left behind. Ed Young, one of the speakers you will hear from very soon, helped me demystify my symptoms and arm myself with knowledge that I have no doubt has saved my life. If you are listening, you have already begun to make sense of the chaos around you, whether because of ME, whether your knowledge of other post-viral or infectious diseases, or because of long COVID. However, there are now millions around the country, let alone the world, who are swimming in a sea of chaos and don't know what to do. There are even doctors who don't know that COVID can last weeks, let alone months and years, despite the nature of initial infection or vaccination. So how can they make sense of the chaos of their lives? They need individuals who can translate what they're going through. They need a rock, just like my mother was to me. You don't need to be a top-tier scientist to help them make sense of the world around them. If they mention they haven't felt the same since their COVID infection, mention that about 30%, if not 50% of people post-COVID infection actually suffer some type of symptoms for months or even years. If someone casually mentions to you in a grocery store that they struggle to remember basic things, ask them, does it feel like your brain's in a fog? If they say yes, tell them. That's probably what's referred to as brain fog, but it's actually a sign of a serious medical condition called cognitive dysfunction. And it happens quite often post COVID. If we arm individuals with the knowledge made accessible in plain language, they can begin to make sense of the chaos in their lives, just like we did with lightning and hurricanes. You know how to talk to your community, speak to them, help them make sense of the chaos in their lives as the world returns to pre-COVID norms based on the urgency of normal. Together, armed with knowledge, we can work collectively to make decisions to ensure that normal can be returned to those suffering from long COVID, as well as those long suffering and the, oh Lord, post-viral community. Ah, thank you all so much.